Hello, hello, hello. Hey, friends. If you're here watching this replay, thank you so much for stopping by. Svava Brooks here, trauma recovery coach. Excited to be here with you guys Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as we cover topics related to the healing journey. I'm super excited about my audiobook that I'm working hard on every single day, recording some truths and some insights from my healing journey, along with some tools for mindfulness, meditation, self-care. So I hope you check it out. I put the link below. But if you're here with me live right here, right now, I'm so excited to be with you. The topic today, we are going to talk about our biology, nervous system, vagus nerve. Rob, you're so funny. Spavagus. I like that. I like that. Hey, EJ, how are you doing, my friend? How are you? Trying to find my spot here, my chair, and my wobbly table. Good to be here with you guys. It feels like summer just all of a sudden hit here, Portland, Oregon today. Is it still winter where you are? We start, right? Check in, come as you are. Let me know how we can support you today. And if you have any questions about healing that we can support you with. And if I don't know the answer, I know this community has lots of wisdom, lots of wisdom. EJ doing all right? I think she's in or out, in and out. Hot sun, cold nights. When it's cloudy though, it's just okay. I hear you. I hear you. And we don't have to say, maybe we'll just say it, right? The obvious. We are all worn out by the fatigue of COVID, the uncertainty, masks on, masks off. Can we socialize? Can we travel? Can we not? Right? So we just got to roll with it. We just got to roll with it. Not bad for April. Actually, what they're saying here on the West Coast, everything is popping early. So meaning it's drier and warmer than usual. So, but we're just going to have to deal. We're just going to have to navigate. So are you guys excited for our topic of discussion today? Anyone? I'm kind of working my way through the requests that I got in the Facebook group when I asked you guys to tell me what topics you wanted me to cover. So I'm doing my best. Thank you, EJ. Thank you. I appreciate that honesty. I expected it. I expected it. Hey, Liz. How are you doing, friend? Good to see you. I'm trying to minimize my screen here for a minute without shutting down everything. That's right. I hear you, Rob. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So we are going to hit the ground running, right? So I'm going to start with a little education about our nervous system. And this is actually something that I get all jazzed up about. I'm super excited about, as you guys know, when I get an opportunity to step on the soapbox. I'll try not to be preachy, but I'm excited about this. So share how our nervous system works, and reason why I'm so passionate about this is because this was like the big piece of the puzzle that was missing for me for so long, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. Many of us have turned over every stone or looked for all kinds of help and healing tools. Of course, every little bit works. It all counts. But what was really missing for me, and why I ended up becoming a TRE practitioner and a provider, is that I had not really connected with my body and found a way to help my body to heal. And so the more I'm working with the body, the more I'm learning. And it's like one of those, right? It's like the more I learn, the more I realize, oh my goodness, I know nothing. I know nothing. But I just try to keep on learner's mindset. What do they say? I'm just excited about learning, So feel free to blast me with questions, comments, tell me to stop and back up if you need to. But I've pulled up some content to share with you guys today. And I hope you saw in the Facebook group, I put up an image that helps us explain a little bit that I'm talking about it. And if there are things that I say or mention or refer to that you're like, Svava, you need to put more information about this in the group, I'm more than happy to do so. Be careful what you ask for, right? Hey friends, if you're joining us, please say hello. Please let us know that you're here. So the short version before I dive in, right, is that I had tried everything under the sun and was always stuck in the knee-jerk habits, the habitual reaction to things. The nervous systems responded. I found myself in the same arguments, literally same health challenges, same struggle with meditating, connecting with my body, taking care of my body. There you go, Rob. And literally to the point where I was like, I can't change, right? I knew so much about trauma up here, but how to bring it here and start to live out of it, there was this disconnect. And so when I dove into TRE, tension and trauma release, to anyone that's curious, you can look up David Berceli. And actually here on my YouTube channel, you can find my interview with David Berceli. Actually get to hang out with him this weekend. I'm participating in or supporting a Module 1 training online. So anyway, so what do? We start understanding that, of course, we survive trauma, right? Our bodies brilliantly protect us. Our autonomic nervous system, right? The part of our nervous system that keeps everything operating without us having to supervise. Can you hear me now, Lynn? Or is it just on your end? Right? Our body brilliantly knows how to protect us, right? It disconnects us from the body if the pain gets too great or overwhelming. And really, that's the only reason how I made it, right? I actually have memories that I dissociated a lot. I left my body a lot. So, and again, I never dared tell anyone, but I thought, they'll lock me up if I tell them. I'm literally out of my body quite a bit, actually. But once I started reading books about trauma, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not the only one. This is actually how both childhood trauma survivors survive. And also when people have severe accidents, often they report leaving their bodies. So the trauma response system, right, is automatic. And it's activated by the reptilian brain, right? The oldest part of our brain back here, actually all the way down in the brain stem and below the level of our conscious awareness, right? So when we get activated, and we're going to talk about the polyvagal theory in a minute, and then I'm going to have you do some stretches to help to restore some vagus nerve function. So give you some assignments today. Stinking reptilian brain. Yes, exactly, EJ. So basically, it happens, right? Our bodies are constantly with the vagus nerve that is running up and down our bodies, constantly taking in neuroception information from the environment, and 80% of that gets sent in up and through the mind. And then only 20% goes the other way. But as the message comes into the body, danger, right? There's danger or perceived danger. What does the body do in connection to the mind? It basically disconnects the rational thinking brain, and in connection with the limbic brain and the reptilian brain, it kicks into gear. We need a cortisol to handle the stress. The muscles get tight and we're ready to fight or to flee, or if we have to, we'll collapse, right? So preparation, brilliant strategy. But what we, unfortunately, our bodies is supposed to do, and our body has this innate wisdom to do, is that once the traumatic event is over, right, the body actually is supposed to relax. The tension is supposed to, right, to be released from the muscles, all the extra hormones that were pumped in, right? Okay, we're safe now. We can call this off. We can relax. But if the body doesn't release the muscular tension, it can eventually lead to chronic pain and difficulties with mental, emotional, physical, and relational health. Because if we're chronically tight and in fight, flight, or freeze, right, this body is ready for a fight. So we go into relationships ready for a fight. We go into the grocery store looking for a fight. So our body has not released those chronic contraction patterns. A healthy body is supposed to expand and contract. Expand just like our lungs, just like our hearts, and a healthy muscle. Exactly, or runs away. Exactly, Rob. So what our body does through the psoas muscle, right? The big muscle group that holds the lower body and the upper body together. I'm gonna hold this up here. Hope you guys can see it. Can you see that picture? Right, this muscle group. So anyone here have lower back issues? Anyone here have tight hips? Anyone here have like tight up into the shoulders, back of their necks? The soul muscle contracts, right? Sign of danger. It contracts to protect all the, precious, most vulnerable parts, right? Our neck, our heart, our gut. Hey, Elizabeth, welcome. And so if we chronically stay this way, we are continually sending the messages to the mind through our through our vagus. There's something wrong, there's something wrong, there's something wrong, right? But like I said, with TRE, by activating this innate wisdom of the body, which is tremors, and you can see it in the wild. You can look at videos on YouTube, National Geographic, where there is a herd of zebras running away from the lion. And once they are in safety, you can see their muscles twitch, right? They're shaking out the tension, and they're shaking out the hormones that were sent in so they could quickly run away, right? So all mammals have this wisdom in our bodies, including ours, including yours. We all have it. We've just disconnected from it. So what happened once I started to allow myself and my body to tremor? It was not easy in the beginning because I was so tight, right? I had basically spent most of my life in very high state of fight, flight, or collapsed into freeze, right? And once I understood that living up there, coming down into social engagement, connected, connected to my body, and open up enough to feel safe to connect to others, that did not feel safe. I'm like, heck no. This body was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. So how did I work my way out of a survival mode freeze where this body, this nervous system, this was my home away from home, so to speak. This was normal. This was my comfort zone. This is what I knew, like my hypervigilant state. I was very good at living there, high functioning. And I know I'm not alone living there. So I had to go slow, super, super slow. And once I understood the stress pattern and the stress cycle, right? So as we build capacity, expand our tolerance, our window of tolerance, right? I had to open up just a tiny bit and then close it up again and then really let everything settle, right? And then we'd expand, right? Healthy body expands and contracts. You're breathing, just like your breathing and your heart, right? I was very tight and very rigid. And because I was so tight and rigid, right, it showed up in my behavior. I was controlling. I always expected the worst to happen, right? My left brain, analytical, always worst case scenario. So my state always impacts our thoughts. Like they say, your story, the story we're telling ourselves, right, comes from the state, what state you're in. And there were signs and symptoms, so to speak. Like I've shared with you guys, it wasn't until I understood this that I realized, actually, no, I'm not a control freak. I just had an intense need for safety, which is normal. We all need to feel safe. And that was how, since I couldn't feel safe in here, I had no idea, no concept of it, because I hadn't started feeling my feelings, understanding my sensations, and that I had some power and some choices, right? So this is what I tried to control and the people around me. So our nervous system, our autonomic nervous system is constantly operating in the background, right? And this is where TRE, by activating the tremors, we're activating the relax mechanism in the same place it starts, in our reptilian brain, right? So that's why TRE works the way it does. Any questions so far, my friends? Let's see, I was scrolling up here. EJ had asked, why does a person learn the need to connect to body for healing? Very good question. Very good question. Any thoughts, you guys, on this? Why does a person know the need to connect for body for healing, but the body resists or fights it? Or maybe you heard me explain it, EJ. Well, hang in there, Elizabeth. I'm going to show you guys some neck stretches that help us with the vagus, right? Our sympathetic activates the nervous system and the parasympathetic deactivates. And then the parasympathetic has it's broken into two sections. It's the dorsal, which is basically runs in the background, runs all our intestines and all the stuff on the inside. And the vagal runs from the upper and is more what's considered our social engagement system. When we are in our ventral vagal, we feel connected to our bodies. We are oriented to our environment. We are in joy. We are in the present moment. We're grounded. We're curious, and we're mindful. And when we're in our dorsal vagal state is often considered, right, when we're shut down, we're detached, we are depressed, we are basically in shame, often is a trigger into dorsal vagal state. So I hear you, EJ. I hear you, friend. I had to hear these things repeated over and over and over again. So here's another version of what I just shared with you. I'm going to read some information here about the vagus nerve, and then I'm going to share some things from a book called Accessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve by Stanley Rosenberg. It's a very easy to read book, and I share the exercises that I'm going to share with you with my clients and the people in my TRE groups when they come to learn TRE. The autonomic nervous system is part of the parasympathetic. Actually, I'm going to rephrase that. So hold on. Maybe this will clear it for us. It's part of both, depending on here. Let's see here. Vagus, right? It's a little theory here. Vagus means wanderer in Latin. And the vagus is the main component of the parasympathetic nervous system. The vagus is the cranial nerve. It comes from the brain and exits the skull back here. That begins in the brainstem and then wanders through the body, right? All the way up and down the body, connecting with multiple organs. The vagal pathways are bidirectional, 80%, right? Actually 80% from the body, traveling from the body to the brain. And the vagus is divided into two parts. From the diaphragm upward, the ventral vagus connects with the heart, lungs, and our throat. From the diaphragm down, the dorsal vagus connects the stomach, liver, spleen, kidney, colon, intestines, and is responsible for the function on the digestive system. So what happens when we get stressed? We have digestive issues, right? And the more stress we have, right, the higher the stress, then more the vagus will just turn off the digestive system because it is no longer needed. We're fighting for our life. We don't need to worry about the next meal. We're just worried about surviving right now. So, right? In daily function, the ventral vagus creates healthy homeostasis and the dorsal vagus brings healthy digestion. So, in a survival response, the dorsal vagus moves the body into conservation mode, slowing the heart rate, impact breathing, disturbing digestion, creating a sense of disconnection, numbing, collapse, a sense of going through the emotions without being present. So that was all me, going through the motion, nobody home. The sympathetic nervous system is a spinal nerve system. The nerves originate in the spinal cord that helps regulate the heart and breath rhythms. It works with the ventral vagal to bring needed energy to navigate daily activities. Like we need a little bit of activation in the sympathetic, right, to show up for work, to finish our projects, right? It pushes a little bit of stress in there to get us going, to get this body moving. But then we're meant to come into rest and digest, right? When we come into rest and digest, sleep, this body is not just surviving, it's regenerating, right? Healing. So when triggered out of normal daily function into survival response, the HPA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal is activated, pumping cortisol and adrenaline through the body. And that's what chronic fatigue and what gives a lot of the autoimmune problems is because we are swimming in cortisol. And cortisol is only meant to be temporary in our bodies, in our nervous system. And so what wears out a lot of the nerve endings is the stress hormone in our body. But there are good news. There are good news, my friends. There are. As we are learning all of this, we are also learning, right? The body also comes with the capacity to heal and restore. Exactly, Rob, the alarm that doesn't stop. And again, I had no idea that the alarm was ringing. I didn't hear it anymore. I had tuned out. I didn't know. Right? And that's what our body does. Hold on, my friends. I got too many moving parts. So, thoughts, questions? So, as we are healing, part of healing is moving us. Like I had to move my nervous system out of dorsal into sympathetic and then ventral. Exactly, EJ, I hear you. So as we come out of dorsal and from that shutdown, we want to come to connect, we have to go through the sympathetic system. And that, like I said, can be a startling experience. So when I started working with my body was like, heck no. Anyone here come up against any resistance? Thank you. I think it's the blue reflection. If it gets to be too much, I can put on different glasses. But I actually like the protection. So thanks, Liz. Little squirrel moment here. So anyone here find resistance sometimes when we're trying to heal, when we're trying to change? Right, exactly. This body, this nervous system is so good. It's been working so hard of staying here, keeping you safe. So resistance is understandable, right? It's your whole systems. Like, no way, Jose, are we going anywhere but here. We're staying here. I hear you. So as we regulate our nervous system, it is important to understand that if we have been in our beautiful self-protective state of immobility and shutdown, dorsal, right? We have to go through our self-protective state of mobilization, the sympathetic referred to as fight or flight. In order to make our way to a regulated state of ventral presence and safety. Exactly. We gradually, I'm losing my voice. So, my friends, this process can be overwhelming and startling if we move too quickly into our mobilized state, right? So if we move too quickly, then we will go back into freeze. So we are expanding our capacity, right? There you go. That's exactly it. One of the tools to do when you're brushing your teeth, right? You gargle your throat. All those nerves that we talked about going to the lizard brain, where are they moving? They're moving through our neck and at the back, down the spine and here. So I put cold water on my face every single morning when I wake up. It's a habit now. I don't even think about it anymore. And I started doing it because I learned the ventral vagal is in the face. So drink a glass of water, or when you brush your teeth, gargle the throat. Exercise, right? The ventral vagal. For most of us, the sympathetic is so highly charged, right? We talk about that. It's like a 5-lane freeway. We do that well. It's solid. And so we are working on trying to come out of dorsal, moving slowly into ventral vagal. So, are we ready for some exercises? You ready? You're gonna make me do this alone? So we're gonna do I'm gonna show you some stretches that you can do that can impact your state. EJ. You're funny. You're funny. So it's okay. You can just listen. There you go. There you go, Rob. See? And so what I meant to say earlier, right? The good news is that we can, right? We can exercise our ventral vagal, right? And he says optimal health. Now I'm going to Stanley Rosenberg's book. Optimal health is possible only when we have a well-functioning ventral branch of the vagus nerve, right? All here. And you guys, you've seen me this for years. I'm sitting here with you guys, putting my hand on my heart, right? Feel my warmth, my hand on my body. This actually triggers the feel-good hormones of our nervous system, oxytocin. And getting oxytocin in our body, in our nervous system, actually repairs the damage of cortisol. So some of these exercises and the tools that I'm going to show you here help most people to move from a state of chronic sympathetic activity, stress, or dorsal vagal into a state of social engagement. But remember, for a lot of us, we have been chronically tight, right? We've been chronically pulled in, right? Lower back pain, hip pain, stomach issues, right? Trouble breathing. You know, we don't breathe down into our gut, right? So some of these exercises take time. It takes time. But I always suggest to my TRE people when they come into my 4-week class is that they journal, because we move so fast that we don't notice when things shift. We don't notice. I hear you, Rob. EJ. And so if you start to make a note in your journal, so it makes a difference. And it is when we do things in the context and then notice the shift, it makes a difference. Then we're going to, keep doing it. All right, so what we're going to do is what he calls the basic exercise. And this exercise, of course, be cautious. If you have any neck strain or challenges with your neck, do this, right? I'm not having you sign any medical release, so be careful, or don't do it at all if you are concerned about your neck. But basically, before we do anything, we are going to stretch our neck. I want you just to check for freedom of movement right now. So rotate your head to the right and left as far as you can, just to kind of have a sample before and after, right? Just kind of look over your shoulder gently, see how far you can go, and then come back in the middle. And then look over your other shoulder. We're just kind of testing before, okay? Right? Got it? And so this exercise that he calls the basic exercise, I think I've even shown some of you guys this one before. He recommends the first time you do it is that you do it laying on the floor, but you can also do it standing up or sitting, as I'm doing right now, because I'm not going to go lay on the floor. But what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to, right? My fingers are interwoven, and I'm going to place my hands behind the head. So I'm kind of cradling my skull back here, and my thumb is kind of right below here, almost like down the back of my neck a little bit. Good, right? So this is what it looks like. If you have challenges with your shoulder, you can do one hand at a time, but just place it so you're actually holding the whole back of your neck. Are you guys with me? I can't see you, so I'm all right. So what you're going to do here, you keep your head in place. And I want you to look to the right, but you don't move your head. You just move your eyes. EJ, you know this one. I'm going to put on a timer. So just move the eyes, looking to the right. Starting, stop, reset, start. Starting now. There you go, EJ. You can do this one with us. Right? Just move your eyes to the right. And if you can hold it, yes. Above the neck, yes. There is a little, kind of a little bump back there, yes. And so 30 seconds to a minute. And what we are looking for, an activation, is that you will swallow, yawn, or sigh. Or start to yawn. Anyone notice any of those? So now we've been here for about 60 seconds. Now we're going to move our eyes back to the center. And then we're going to do the same here. We're going to look over to the left, just with your eyes. You're not moving your head. Right? Just moving my eyes, holding for up to a minute. I do this at night before I go to sleep now. Not every night. I do TRE at night too. So just notice. 30 more seconds if you can. Right? Again, did you notice that you swallowed, or a yawn, or a sigh? Anyone? Anyone notice anything? You guys not playing along? You notice sleepy eyes. There you go, Elizabeth. So what we're doing, right? We're moving, we're activating the parasympathetic, the ventral vagal. We're shifting from being in the sympathetic into our parasympathetic. Okay, Liz, it's okay, but you can try it later. Try it later. And try it more than once. Do it a couple of times, or try it a few nights in a row. There you go. See? See? So basically, when we do this, we are correcting, right? The posture of our head and re-engaging with that part of our nervous system. There you go, right? That's how powerful that is. And so just sit with it. Just notice, how does your body feel? Maybe very subtle. This is how we exercise our ventral vagal. We're restoring the function of the vagus nerve, moving us out of the fight and flight, right? Where there's cortisol being sent into the system. Danger, danger, danger. But if we can continue, no, there's no danger. I'm safe. I can easily fall asleep. We can relax now. Then the body goes, okay, halt on the cortisol. We're ready to relax, right? And then, like I said, for many of us who have lived in that state for a long time, it will take some practice. It will take some exercising. And what does this take? A minute? About a minute. So make a note of it. Make a note of it. Right, Elizabeth? I love doing this just before sleep. It hits the spot. So, and also there's a little warning here. If you become dizzy when you sit up or stand up, it is because you relaxed when you were laying down and your blood pressure dropped. This is a normal reaction to it. It just takes, he says, about a minute or two before your blood pressure adjusts and pumps more blood to your brain. So again, evaluate the experience every time you try. Right? Has there been any improvement in the mobility of your neck? Remember the test we did before? Try again. Is there more mobility in your neck? Anyone? Has your breathing changed? I'm no longer coughing. I could feel my voice relaxed. I was so excited. I was talking to you guys up here. Now that I relaxed a little bit, I'm connecting to you from my gut. Do you notice anything else? EJ, I hear you. She says, when I get ready to sleep is usually when my body freaks. I understand. I understand. Why? Right? Remember what I read earlier? When we have lived up in fight, flight, freeze, and we are suggesting to the body that it go to sleep, that it relax, that it is safe, it goes, heck no, that's not okay, that's not safe. Alarm, 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 don't relax, Don't fall asleep. You have to keep fighting, right? So easing into it, easing into sleep, easing into the parasympathetic to relax. Excellent. Excellent, Elizabeth. Yes, it has the ripple effect, right? Your breathing relaxed, your psoas relaxes, your breathing, your diaphragm relaxes. So here's another exercise for you guys. I just learned this one today. There you go, Elizabeth. Put your hand on your diaphragm. And to exercise it, I was listening to, and I thought of Sue. I was thinking about her, this vocal coach who actually does fascia release with people who are learning to become better singer. There you go. Bing, 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 guys. Beautiful. Makes me so happy. So you can place your hand right here and do this with your lips. And notice how your diaphragm moves. This is a diaphragm exercise. If your diaphragm is tight, really tight, this is how you can relax it. My cats are like, what the hell is she doing? And another exercise, and you can, that's too ticklish, I know. And another one is you say the sound V. Notice how your diaphragm responds. EJ, these things are great for you, EJ. So this vocal coach who is aware of the importance of big breaths, right? Your voice, he says, singing isn't just about this. It's about, the capacity to breathe. So these are more exercises to do. Let's see, you guys are ready for more? We have a few more minutes. This is also an interesting one. Here's another exercise. Hold on, I'm scrolling through the pages. Yes, he called this one the salamander exercise, the half salamander exercise. You guys ready for more? EJ. Yay! There you go. And keep putting your hand here and notice it's an exercise for your diaphragm, and the diaphragm is also what's part of what locks down, right? When our psoas locks up, so does our breathing. It all locks up in there. So when people are learning to tremor, for very often it takes a while for their tremors to move up into their upper body because their psoas, their diaphragms are so tight. It's like a wall. It's frozen. Nothing is getting through. So that we have to relax it to allow, right, expand our breath and for energy and the blood flow, right, up to the head and down, all the way up. So this part of the exercise we do sitting, okay? Sit in a comfortable position without turning your head. Let your eyes look to the right, just the eyes, right? Just move the eyes to the right and then continue to face straight forward. Tilt your head to the right, right? You're looking, you're moving your eyes and then tilting to the right. And without lifting the other shoulder. Holding for about 30 to 60 seconds. We'll do 30 seconds. Okay, you're looking to the right and you're holding to the right. I'll let you know the time. There we go. And then we bring our head, come back up to neutral. You shift your eyes to look forward. And now the same, we let our eyes look to the left. And then we bend our head to the left. Hold for 30 seconds. And then you come back up. Head into the upright position and your eyes to a forward. What do you notice? What do you notice? Right? The ventral vagal is all here. Neck, face, eyes. We're exercising the part of our nervous system that helps us to connect to our bodies. Did that one work for you, EJ? Just yawn big time? Excellent. Soon as we finish, yes, in my TRE class, I tell people, because when they start to yawn, they're like embarrassed. And I'm like, no, no, no. Everybody who yawns gets a star. You get extra bonus points for yawning. That means you're relaxing. That's a good thing. Don't hold back. Yawn all you want. Your body is pulling in more oxygen. It wants to relax and release. There you go, EJ. It worked. And that's the thing. When we've been tight like this and we find a way to relax and release, a lot of energy, so much of our pain and struggle is because we're holding onto it. We're not letting it go. And then when we relax, we're like, oh my gosh, I was so tired. I was so tired. Here's one more, okay? And then you guys have a few of these to practice. And that's it. They work if we practice. They work if we practice. So this one is the movement of the eyes, right? Again, to the right. But instead of moving your head in that direction, now you move your head in the other direction, right? The eyes are going to the right, but the head's going left for 30 seconds, right? The opposite. Just as long as you can, right? If it's anything feels uncomfortable, I'm feeling a little dizzy. I'm just joking. Your eyes want to close, just notice that. Just notice that. And then you bring your head up, right? And then move the eyes in the other direction to the left and move your head down there to the right. Got it? Eyes to the left and head down to the right. Do you notice anything? Is there anything different about this movement than when you were looking in the same direction that you were moving your head to? And then you can bring your head back up. It's interesting. Anybody notice anything different than when we did the one before? Nope. There you go. That was your cue, EJ. Once was enough. More, not okay, right? Just open up a little bit. Then just let it go for now. Again, doing more. Sometimes just doing one is enough for today, right? Because sometimes we think doing a little helps, then doing a lot must help more. So explore your window of tolerance, right? What works for you? Get to know your nervous system. All right, Elizabeth, have a really good night's sleep. Thanks for being here with us. So he builds on this exercise a little bit more. So basically, did you notice you had more mobility, right? You were able to move the neck further when you looked the opposite direction than when you looked in the same direction. It's very interesting. Very interesting. So we have about 4 minutes left, but basically my hope with you guys here today is to plant some seeds, right? That we are our biology first, our nervous system first, right? Your body is always, always, always. Am I safe? How much energy do we have? Right? Are we safe? How much energy do I have? So the cues for you, right? How is my breath? How is my breath? Your breath is a cue. If you're only breathing down to here, and if you have a really tight diaphragm and you are having a hard time breathing all the way into your stomach, just know that that's something we can practice. And right, when I do the Wonder Woman pose with you guys, right? Pushing down the shoulders and back. What are we doing? We're stretching the neck, right? Have more mobility in my neck, because when we are in fight or flight or freeze, we're here. We don't move very much. We're protecting ourselves. So when we relax and push the shoulders back and down, all of a sudden our world view goes from here to here. So work with your body, work with your nervous system. The stories that we tell ourselves, the messages from the body to the mind, are all based on how you are feeling in the body. And then, of course, that filter of past experience, right? This is how we put together the pieces. This is how we change. This is how we feel empowered, right? Understanding how our body and our nervous system works. So I'm happy to do more of these because, like I said, I have a slew of exercises we can do. Also starting to work with the fascia, which is fascinating. Again, we are an organism. Everything is one. Everything is connected. And basically, this is how, right, our issues are in our tissues, right? So how can we work with the tissues that we're sitting in, right? How can we be kind to this tissue because it has stored some stuff? How can we help it release it? Release all the tension patterns, right, that become tight and they're just in a knot. But if we attend to it with warmth and connection, But we have to practice, right? We have to practice. So, and with that, I'm going to put in that I'm starting my next round of TRE class. 4 groups starts on May 10th. Mondays, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know it's really late for my European people. 8 p.m. Eastern. If anyone wants to come and learn TRE, I go super, super slow, where you learn about the stress response system, the polyvagal theory, and each class, along with slowly activating the tremors, right? The tremors are what help to release the chronic tension pattern, and also any old, right, stress hormones that are maybe still swimming in the body. It's really how we are healing from the inside out. So if you're curious, like to learn more, please reach out. Thanks, guys, for being here as always, and loving and supporting on each other. It's always fun to be with you all. Remember, we all come fully equipped with what we need to heal and restore. And the card tonight, remember, one day she realized she was much more than a survivor, right? Really, I personally believe this is how I moved out of survival into thriving, working with my body and my nervous system. There you go. There you go. All right, sweet friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. It's good to be here with you. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you next time. I hope you all get some spring weather wherever you are, that the cold and the snow has moved on for now. All right, sweet friends, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye now.